Hey people, welcome back. It's AOHR, and you know what? I just love this song. It's all about being happy, and we are very excited about this today. So, a lot to talk about today, a lot of questions that have been coming up. So, feel free to just chat away out there and all too. But, I just want to let you know there are some really, really cool things about being happy. And so, I'm going to lower this down a little bit so you can still hear me. But, I did some little research here and just a little bit of information about being happy and why it's so important as you being the boss. It's important that you are happy most of all because it really resonates with your team. So, just to let you know, company culture, yeah, I know you've all heard this, right? 87%, quality of work, 84%, company reputation, 53%, and company benefits, 52%, are the most important factors when researching potential employers. And did you know, as of right now, they're saying more than half, 58% of people are looking to move jobs in the next 12 months. Now, listen, I hear this all the time. Individuals look for four key aspects of company culture: a friendly working environment, a healthy work life balance, a progressive, open minded, and inclusive environment, and of course, autonomy with opportunities for growth and development. And it's so important to be happy, but the idea is that you are happy. You have to be happy internally as well, and it really does resonate with your team. I can tell you when somebody walks into my place here, literally everybody gets up and goes over and shakes their hand and welcome and do you need any coffee, do you need something to eat, blah blah blah. And that really resonates, and the rest of the day is actually really happy as well. So by all means, I know it sounds like really such easy things out there to do, guys, but be happy out there, okay? So we have a lot of questions going on today, so bear with me here. Listen, I'm getting good at this stuff. Good morning, Heather. Hey, Robin. I'm so excited. I bought two of Robin's pictures, by the way. They're beautiful, by the way. So if you haven't talked to Robin, it's so great. And if you need a pet sitter and you need someone to groom your pets and come to your place, you got to talk to Heather Nicole. Okay, so awesome stuff out there, guys. So listen, I'm going to go over some of these questions, but feel free to ask away some questions in here as well. And I'm going to keep my little happy thing going on here real fast. Here we go. All right, first question. Thank you so much, Kristen. Appreciate it. How do I learn how to run team meetings and what frequency do I build my team and culture? It really depends upon your team, to be honest with you. My team, obviously, HR and recruiting, they like to talk a lot. And so we try to have meetings at least once a week with those respective teams. We also have what we call town halls. Town halls basically are quarterly updates upon how the company is doing. And you know what? I made them really, really fun. So we actually have it where we basically have a themed town hall every quarter. And the idea behind that is that we actually, we get dressed up for it. I mean, keep in mind, a lot of it was on Zoom the last 2 years, but now we're starting to go into, in person and all. And you make it fun, make it happy kind of a deal. But you want to make sure that you don't do too many meetings because obviously it takes away from the work. But you want to make sure that you have meetings where people feel like they are being accountable and they feel like they're adding value. And so you want to make sure, like maybe one week this person talks and maybe leads the meeting, and one person leads the meeting. It also helps your team learn management skills too, as well as being an agenda and being organized. And it really helps you out a lot. But I say at least once a week while you're getting started and all, because people need to know what's happening. If there's one thing I hear all the time about startup companies is the fact there's not enough communication. So you want to make sure you work on that out there. Okay. Anyway, um, I'm just making sure that y'all can hear me too. So anybody out there, just make sure if you can hear me, put in there. We can hear you, Marsh. That would be very helpful. I'd appreciate that because I got three eyes on here. All right, that'd be helpful. Okay, so with that, my second question is as follows. It's from Grant. Hello, Grant. How do I determine what hires to make to continue scaling my online coaching business? Well, you know what? I have a rule of thumb that if I have more business than I can do myself, I start hiring more people. And the nice thing about it is when you are starting your business, you can do a 1099 status and not necessarily a W-2. Now, I like W-2 more so because it makes sure like it feels like they're part of your team and they feel like you're looking out for them and more like an ownership kind of a deal. A 1099 will help you though get over that curve The only problem is when people have their own consulting practices, you want to make sure that you have agreements out there that are very, very, very clear about whose client basically that they have out there. So it's just that is a really big deal because what happens, and this has happened to me when I first got started, I had agreements, but probably not as tightly written as they probably should have been, and I have a lot of trust with people, and so I would give them some work, an opportunity, and then about a year later, this person left and basically kept working at that client. And because my agreement wasn't written as detailed as it should have been, I lost that client and she along with it, and then it was her new client. So I pretty much helped her get started. So these are very very hard things to learn, but take it from me. Want to make sure you have a really good agreement that has it that you cannot solicit that client for like I would say 2 years at least, because 1 year sometimes nowadays is just not long enough. Okay. So I hope that helps you a little bit. But listen, I could always tell when I needed more people is that I just couldn't handle the work that I was happening. And I felt like I wasn't doing any more business development because I was so entrenched in the work at the time. And so if you could see that, try to have two or three people as consultants on the side ready to go with the caveat, that they're your clients, not their clients. And then, keep it moving that way. Okay. Just make sure that you follow up with them and make sure that they are basically working the way you want them to work because they're representing you and your company. And that's a big deal because your reputation is really everything when you're starting a business. Very, very big deal. Okay, next question from Paris Crockett. Hello, Paris. Do you have any suggestions as to where I could start a sales career to get great sales experience? Let me tell you something. You know what I did when I started my business? First of all, I was scared to death, right? I was the breadwinner. I quit a very like job that was cushy. I got my paycheck every 2 weeks. And you know what? Guess what? I never really had any strong sales exposure. And so one of the things I wanted to do, and someone came to me and said, "Hey, in the interim, would you mind selling, cosmetics?" And who doesn't love cosmetics? I love cosmetics. And so I started selling Arbonne, Arbonne. It was great. It was all like healthy products, and I love what they're doing. I love what they do for my skin. I was in love with the product, so of course I'm like, yeah, I could do this on the side while I'm getting my company up and running, and I can get some commission checks on the interim. Well, ironically enough, the best thing about that was I got to go once a month to a like all hands on sales pump you up meeting and with all these other people that wanted to sell Arbonne as well was one of the best sales trainings I've ever been through. And when I left those meetings, look, I didn't realize it at the time, but they helped me get my self confidence. They helped me with ways for sales. They helped me to be like super happy and be around other people who were happy. Because sometimes when you start your business, I'll just be honest with you, it sucks because a lot of people like don't always believe in you, and you need to be around people that are really going to help you out with all that stuff. And so being around those happy people really helped me get really motivated and pumped up. And it just helped not only with my sales for Arbonne, but it helped me with sales for my business. And I didn't realize how much I needed it until that happened. So, starting up like an Avon or, something where you have to go to someone's house and get those things set up, or even just small sales. You know what's great? Cutco. Cutco has these great knives out there that have a great reputation, but they actually teach you all these sales things that you never were taught before, and they do that part of the program. So just stuff like that you might want to think about doing while you're setting up your business, because to learn those sales skills is so so incredibly important. There are topics like the Sandler, Sandler. Sandler is another tool out there you could use. Just go to Google, go to YouTube, and type in Sandler so they could hear different things. And I had a friend of mine who helped me go through a course, and he did it pro bono because he knew I was getting started. A lot of people will help you get pro bono when you get started too, because they remember being there themselves. So don't be so afraid to ask too, guys. But the Sandler method was really interesting about sales. And you know what it came down to? Sales came down to this: it had to be something that kept them up at night, or basically it was hurting them. And when you start asking that question, when I start doing reviews now, when I start with a client, I'll ask how big they are, their size, different things. And they talk about, I just need a handbook. I'm like, okay, well, let's go backwards. Why do you need a handbook right now, right here? You've been in business for 2 years. Why now? and you start really peeling away the onion, and then you come to basically, so you really need an HR assessment and this and this and this because there's pain and it's keeping up at night or they have a lawsuit against them. Those things you're going to hear about basically is a need. And once you start hearing all those different areas, you just become that basically that person that listens really intently, and you're going to be that resource for them. Even if it might not be your business that you provide services, but if you're that resource to a client in regards, well, who do you know for this, who this, who this, who this, it's amazing how many people are going to come back to you. It's amazing. I hope that helps a little bit. Okay, and next question. Here we go. How do I hire people that I can depend on? You know, yeah, I hear you. And this is from Dane Brodeen. Dane, great name. Dane, this is the trick. You got to go. Honestly, I'm still a gut person. I still go with my gut. I do basically just interviews as to looking through. I ask more about specifics about. Give me examples of how you started something, how you came across something very difficult in your life. What was it? What did you do around it? And when you start asking those kind of questions about putting them into situations where it was complicated, you get to see what kind of person that you're working with as well. And so I ask a lot of behavioral questions, but make sure that you're consistent with questions when you're interviewing everybody as well. People talk. And I just ask those kind of questions. But you got to go. I'm a big person on gut. I'm a big person about, I don't always look at the resume. Resume might get you in the door. A referral even gets you in the door better. Um, but I want to hear about what you did during university. I want to hear how you liked cleaning up things. What happened with a customer screaming at you? How did you deal with it? Things like that that are going to come in play. And once you just say, I just want to give me an example. Well, listen, if you do it a long time, you'll realize some people will lie to you and tell you anything you want. And trust me, I've hired people myself, even been doing this for 25 years. I hired somebody who we were very clear about the expectations of the job. And so having a job description helps too. I know many of you don't have that. I didn't when I first got started, but sometimes it just helped to have something basic out there because I was really clear about one of the positions that I hired for here. I got to tell you something. I had my executive team hire this person. All of them said the same thing about exactly what we needed, right? So this person comes in, and then basically we're like, what happened to that person we just hired? Because she felt she was too good for that role. And because of her master's degree, she was going to be doing this up here and was not very happy. Morning, Sean. Wasn't very happy with what we were doing. So within a month, we had to let her go. And I said, what just happened here? I said, we were really clear about all these things we needed you to do, but every time we asked you to do this, you rolled your eyes at us. It would take forever for you to do. And literally, she said to me, she said, well, I thought I could just get in the door and then use my master's. I said, what? And so it happens every day, guys. You're going to be beating yourself up about always hiring the right person, the wrong person. I would say, number one, make sure your questions are consistent. Make sure you ask questions about difficult situations that they have gone through and what they did. And make sure that you trust your gut. I still believe in my gut on that one. I know people tell you not to do that, but too bad. I still believe in my gut. I was right about that one in the first place. So, by all means, hope any questions. And if you need any counseling or you need any questions or if you need any job descriptions, just reach out to me. I'm here, and they're all available on the web out there, guys. You just need to know where to find them, and I do. So just reach out if you need anything. Okay. Next one. All right, Tiffany Rush. Hello. Good morning, Tiffany. How do I develop centers of influence in my business? Um, what's really interesting about that? If you're in real estate agent and her developing centers of influence will build your business. Absolutely. I call them my connectors. Okay. Now, why is it so important to have connectors? Let me tell you something. Because your connectors out there are like your mini marketers. They know what you do, they trust what you do, and they trust in the fact that you're helping them as well. So, my center of influence, I have strategic alliances out there who are people always talking us up, always taking care of me, blah, 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 but I also take care of them. So you're talking about people who, like from my world, professional services, it's attorneys, it's people who are bankers, it's people that are interim CFO services, stuff that I don't do, interim marketing services, things that I don't do. But they know you typically if they need interim marketing, they need interim HR or interim recruiting. And so we'll have that little bit of a powwow out there that I work with. Now, I also have some people that I do commission checks with. And they'll say, if they give me so much, I set it up where I have a certain percentage that goes back to them. And that works out real well because they get paid quarterly. And I hate to say that, but money works out there, guys. And you'd be surprised every time I get that check out to that person, within like 2 weeks, I'm getting more referrals in from that person. And the nice thing about it is they're good referrals where I know that I'm going to make a nice buck on it. So you want to make sure you take good care of those people. So even at the holidays, you better believe, I have 10 people in particular, 10 groups that are my spheres of influence, are my connectors, and I take good care of them at the holidays because I'm very thankful for what they do for us. Um, so make sure you have them. I would call them mini marketers, but also too, it's got to be vice versa. You have to help them too and get out there and get visible. It can't just be one way versus the other way. When I first got started in the business, I would have a lot of meetings with a lot of people, and I would spend a full hour with that person trying to help them. And then I realized, like, no offense, men, okay, but a lot of them were men, and a lot of them took up the entire hour of talking. And then I was getting mad. And then I realized why I was getting mad at me. I was getting mad at me because I had the chance of controlling that conversation. And so what I started doing is I would say, hey, thanks for meeting with me. We have 1 hour of time. 30 minutes is going to be about you and how I can help you. I'm going to give you two referrals. And then 30 minutes is going to be about me and how you can help me. And if you can give me two referrals, I would appreciate it. And you know what? It worked like a charm because at the very, very end of that, I would let that person know, thanks so much for meeting with me. Don't forget, we do three things. And that visual piece of it, believe it or not, it resonated with them because what I would hear afterwards when I got phone calls or referrals, well, he said that he remembered the two things that you did. He didn't remember the third thing. So that to me meant it was working. And all of a sudden, the phone calls started coming through. And I would follow up on any referral that they had given me. And that's how the pipeline started to churn. And then you just want to make sure you keep track of all those emails, guys, too. Whether it's a spreadsheet or whatever, that's every contact you get is gold. Every contact you get is gold. Okay? Okay, cool. All right, next question. Stephen Cox. I know a Stephen Cox. At what point do I give up on a highly profitable sale? So let's go back as background here. I have a customer I have done signs for before, and at the point of doing those signs, inquired about other signs on the property. Since then, I have given the proofs and prices and have not heard back anything. During the winter months, he is less prone to be in the office and be with his family, but I have sent multiple emails and left messages with the secretary. When do I give up on his sale and stop trying to contact him? Okay, so here's my rule of three, and I've done this many, many times and talked to my team. I've also introduced this to my team as well. Number one, I do the rule of three is basically, hey, thanks so much. I look forward to you. Here's my information. Blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'll follow up with you next week. Number two, hey, I wanted to see how things are going. Any questions and see whether or not you've had time to review what I've given you. Blah, blah, blah. Three is, hey, I'm so sorry that we keep missing each other. But I was really looking forward to talking to you. I realize that you're a little busy right now. We'll connect later. Um, and then basically, I always leave something of interest that they know that they will read. So if it's basically a company going through this or going through that, I'll go online and get an article of interest out there, and I will. I hope you don't mind, but I thought you might like this attached article. That attached article has done me wonders over the years because it took the time to do it. They saw that I did it, and then they feel a little guilty because they haven't gotten back to you. Now, what I've also done on my third one is the fact I'll say in there, you know what, so sorry that we haven't been able to get in touch. We are getting extremely busy, and I wanted to make sure for like capacity purposes that I had given you first advantage. I realized that it must be something coming up. Please let me know what time is good for you. So what am I doing there? I'm letting him know that I'm getting too busy to even handle you. So that must mean to him I am really good. And so sometimes that works as well. And you might even have just one client, but you know what? My motto has always been fake it till you make it. And sometimes it's all about the message that you're delivering out there, too. So if you need any help with that, just let me know. Always get a hold of me at O'Connor at tocgrp.com. Glad to help you out with that. And O'Connor's all O's, by the way. All right, next question. Quade Sturdy. Should inquiries be personalized or scripted? And let me ask you why. I am currently looking to expand my network, both clients and suppliers. I am wondering if it is necessary to custom make each email for each recipient. I feel like a scripted approach will streamline the process. However, I don't want to come off as robotic. Um, for example, there are 5 kitchen suppliers on my radar. Would love to know the best way to curate those relationships. You know, I don't know if you've ever done a mail merge or an email mail merge. You know what? But if you could put it in there where you have a spreadsheet, okay, and then you have your document and you have a first name and you have an email. So you can write that email back very personalized, but still stoic. But then you have, Dear Bob, thank you so much for blah, blah, blah. I'm really looking forward to working you, blah, 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 blah. You know what? If that email is written like that, you don't have to put the company's name in there. But if you have that name as a mail merge, look up. So if you go to Google, go into YouTube, and go into basically Microsoft email merge, and it'll teach you how to do that. And if you don't, I can teach you too. So just give me a message, shoot out to me. I can help you with that. But if you have like a lot of people sometimes, like, I'll do some messages like that for like, 50 people. It saves me a ton of time. It goes out at one time. You just got to make sure, it's if their name is Rob, you're not going to put in Robert, right? Where their name is, Philip, and he goes by Philip, and you want to put in Phil. You want to make sure all those things are right and make sure there's no mistakes in there because it's going to go out to everybody, but it'll be an individual email to each one of them. So that's going to streamline your process a lot. Now, you had said you only have 5 kitchen. If you have 5, take the time then to do it individually because it really means a lot. But like I said to you before, putting and attaching an article of interest to them that might not even relate to their company, but maybe about the economy right now. I keep hearing things about different numbers that are really important right now. Stuff like that to help them with their company that you're looking out for them goes a long, long, long way. Okay, so I hope that helps you. All right, next question from Craig. Craig's on a roll today. All right, when would you consider protecting IP? And the reason he asked this, as I create more forms and systems to enhance my services, I've had the thought of copyright and trademarks. I feel as though all the forms I am making will set me apart from competition. I would love to be able to license out all these systems and processes when I hit that level. That way, I can help others operate better companies while getting another revenue stream. Not sure if this is common practice with small business figure. You know, here's the deal. Intellectual property, it's very hard. It's very hard to get a trademark unless you know that somebody else can't really do it. So you have to be careful about it. It's also expensive. And so you got to be careful about what somebody can basically do quickly versus, like, for example, I can't trade an HR handbook because there's hundreds and thousands of different versions out there, right? So I really can't trademark that. Unless it's something very unique and specific, you could trademark your name. And I would do that if you really, moving forward with that, trademarking your name is probably a really, really good move so that nobody else could use it. Out there. But like for example, the O'Connor group, like I can't trademark that name because O'Connor is such a common name out there. So it really depends what you want to do. I would say if you're going to do that, look into the cost of it as well. Unless you really come up with like your own training system and like it's unique to you and everything else, then yes, get that copyrighted because this way you could eventually, if you think you're going to sell it down the road, then definitely look in it. But like I said, look into it and make sure that one, it's not easy to basically somebody else to pick up and do, just changing some words around, or two, basically it's expensive. So make sure you look into all of that as well. Mark Rodriguez, hello, Mark. How do I transition to a different professional segment business model that will create ongoing residual income? Um, I have been an S Corp in the automotive training sector since 2002. I feel stuck in an industry where this is all I feel qualified to do. That is train sales communications and sales and service in auto dealerships. I no longer have the passion and drive I once had. I find myself being one phone call from going out of business and 2 phone calls away from being overbooked. During the pandemic, I made investments in podcast equipment and have not generated $1 revenue from going live on Facebook. Feeling lost and left behind, turning 56 this month. Okay, back up. Bzzz. It's time for you to be happy. So, first of all, what we're going to do right now is we're going to play a happy song for you. So, we're going to have that doing, guys, because I got to tell you, I feel as if everybody needs to be happy out there. So for you alone, we're gonna do this for you.
You can take a break from a hot air balloon. I could go to space with the air, like I don't care, baby. By the way, because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm
Okay. So Mark, that is for you, my dear. And I got to be happy about this because somehow I'm turning 56 is a gift, okay? I'm 54 people, okay? So 56 is a gift. And you never have to feel stuck, okay? You got to get the mindset basically that you can do anything out there. You really can. Now listen, there are great gurus on YouTube about how to take basically your podcast to the next level and how you make money on it. So one of the guys, his name is John Dumas, Dumas. He has a podcast called Entrepreneurs on Fire. And he really talks about how to use your podcast to really, make money out of it and generate things and all too because podcasts basically I have a podcast out there and you know it and how I work on it is I really focus towards entrepreneurs sharing secrets and successes and mistakes as well, but you got to put out there like you got to go at it like I got this and moving forward and having your people. Where's your tribe? Get your tribe around you too. There's so many people in AO that could be this your tribe right now, Mark. And you know what, there's so much out there. So you got to work with Sean. You got to work with the team on this. There's a lot of different topics out there in regards to this. You have sales training, sales communication. You are a guru in that area. You want to bring on people out there, maybe bring in working with entrepreneurs and help them get to that sales thing on saying, hey, we're going to talk about, some of the things that you've done, where you're at today and where you're going. And then bring them back to the show and basically saying, hey, how well you've done. But literally, we got to get that happy tribe around you because I can tell right now you're in that mud pit. You got to get out of that mud pit. And so you need a little bit of a hand to pull you out of that pit and figure out what you want to do. But there's a lot of ways to do residual income. You got to be around people who understand that and been there and have done that. You know what? And I've learned that by being a part of like AO. I've learned it by being a part of EO, it's Entrepreneurs Organization, by asking people about how do you do that? How's that happen? What to be done? And you know what? And to be honest with you, there's a lot of stuff too, even on Google and YouTube out there to look at. But talk to other people who have done it. Get a hold of Sean. I am sure Sean is like one king about residual income and different ways of doing it out there. Okay, guys, but there's never ever be frustrated because you know what? It's wasting your own vibe out there alive, guys. So you want to make sure that you just work on people, get together, get a piece of paper out right now, write down your tribe around people, who you're going to be talking to, who you're going to be following up on. Have a timeline in mind. Give yourself 30 days. Be kind to yourself. Look in the mirror and be like, I got this. And yes, you can do this, okay? But there's so many ways to do residual income out there that I wouldn't even have time to go all through this. And talk to other people who are mentors on this show. Like Dan Abate is another great guy to talk to. So Jeff, oh God, there's so many people out there you should be talking to right now. I hope that helps a little bit. If you need anything, just reach out to me directly, O'Connor at tocgrp.com. Okay? But Mark, be happy. All right. And then Grant Elliott. Hello, Grant. What is the ideal CRM software for us to track a setter's leads? Who done a call, who hasn't, whether they're converted or need a follow-up. Also, best financial qualification strategy. Um, so CRM. I would imagine, so you're talking about leads and you're looking at CRMs. Now, listen, CRMs basically, listen, customer relationship management, for those who do not know what a CRM is, okay? And what that means primarily is like every contact that comes in gets tracked and it goes into a first name, a last name, an email, a phone number, what their business does. Now, you know how I got started with a CRM? Excel spreadsheet. Okay. And that Excel spreadsheet for me was very, 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 very helpful. And the idea behind that really came down to the fact that, you know, you got to understand those are contacts for you, but you don't have to spend a lot of money. There are online things. I know when I first started, I did the Excel. I moved into a CRM called Insightly, which was an online system, which is probably a lot better today than it is now. And then I got to the big guys, basically, which is HubSpot. But you have to find something that's going to work for you to track all those leads and get things moving, and then figure out how to connect with those people on a consistent basis as well. So every 2 weeks, we send out a newsletter to all of my contacts, and we give them like the top 10 things being in the HR on the recruiting side of the house that they need to know. So we become a resource for them. And so a lot of people have told me, like, I get a lot of newsletters, but I always look at yours because it's helping my business. So if you could think of something that's going to help them, and obviously your background, is basically you are a low back rehab coaching program, um, and just all those different things to work around that area. And right now, wellness is a huge topic. So people are stressed out, they're overweight, they have all these things. If you could do like the five top 10 tips by working, sitting down all day or whatever, I think that's going to help you get more visibility as well. So hope that helps you a little bit, Grant. Okay. And hold on. I'm so sorry, guys. Allergy season is back again. I'm going to do it again. Nope. Okay, we're good. All right, so here we go. Kristen Lander. Hello, Kristen. Is there a threshold for percentage of revenue that we take home we should aim to stay with? As I scale my coaching company, congratulations, I'm paying about 46 of revenue to my 1099 contractors and about 15% commission to partnerships with other businesses. This means I'm retaining as low as 39% of revenue with clients brought in on partnerships before expenses, which right now are fairly low, but doesn't leave much room for me to hire admin until I've significantly increased my profits. Is this normal? Well, it is sometimes when you first start out because obviously your 1099 contractors is getting you visibility, it's getting you out there, it's getting a reputation. But like I said, just make sure that they're in it to help you, not necessarily themselves. And then those 50% commissions to partnerships, that's really high. I don't know if you have a way to pull that down. I don't know how you've written it and all too, because mine is 10% that I do to partnerships, but I do it net revenue, meaning after I paid my people, after I had put a surcharge on that for like benefits that I charge people, and then whatever, say for example, something was $1,000, and technically with the person that was on it, it was about 560. So technically, 440 of that was net income. So that 440, I would take 10% of that 440 and then give that to my partner. So that helps you lower your prices on commissions. It's not bad, 39% of revenue, but once you work with your contractors and all too, like it sounds like you pay a lot to your contractors. If there's any way to pull that down, and also by the means, a lot of times contractors, want to come aboard a place that's growing and moving, and so you might want to just reassess how you basically bring your contractors aboard, and basically pull them back a little bit, letting them know that you're new, that you're starting, work with me, and eventually we're going to have a bigger group here. Hope to have you come on board because they're taking a risk as well. But if you're giving them a really good chunk of it, and you're basically, you know, helping them survive, you're not really helping you survive. And so you want to make sure that you pull that down a little bit if you can. Um, the problem is if you already have those the ones you have are going to be hard to change because they're locked in. If they already know you're going to pay that, they're going to keep that. The newer ones coming in though, you want to set it up where like I'm starting up, this is what I'm doing, unless those contractors are talking to the new contractors. That's not a good idea. That's why I like W-2. But like I said, I didn't have a W-2 person for 3 years after I got started. So yes, I definitely agree with you. You should probably be having a higher revenue piece in there. And the last thing you could do probably is charge more for your services. I mean, I know that's tricky and all too, but you want to make sure that your contracts with them, that you can increase your rates every single year. So we have a annual agreement in our reviews. So is this something to think about for you? Okay. Um, and the last question. Oh, I have one more. Sorry, this one popped right in here from Michael. What would I need to be put in place to help prevent infringement of my intellectual property from a new competitor on the market? I own a ticketing platform for selling event tickets. I'm looking to get my website reprogrammed with a new programming language. Um, mm, I don't know. That's things I don't know about that. I imagine though Sean probably has some people on this space to really help you out with that question, but Honestly, I don't know that answer, so I'm so sorry about that. But nonetheless, I can't thank you enough today for tuning in. Make sure you tune into all of Sean's great information out there and get involved. This is a great opportunity to really get your business up and moving. Believe it or not, I always think when things are happening in the world, it creates massive opportunities for entrepreneurs. So just like, COVID was really sucky, but it did create a lot of opportunity for a lot of people out there. So what you want to do basically is just keep on going, create great stuff out there, go above and beyond. Think of the extra things that you could offer your clients and all too. And there's just some really great stuff out there to help. But be yourself. But last of all, be happy. Because once you're happy, people want to buy from happy people. And you know what? And they could see that immediately. So how you are on the phone, how you are in your emails, how you are in person, that comes out and resonates with other people, and people want to work for a happy person as well. So don't forget, be happy out there. All right, people, keep on the crusade out there. You got this. Anything, reach out to me, M. O'Connor at TOCGRP. Have a great day, and don't forget, be happy. Talk to you guys later. Bye.